Hey everyone, it's Joy here and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a really wonderful day. So for my project today, I'm using Pawesome Stamps' new Spring Day stamp and coordinating die. And here is this large stamp and you get tons of great images. I'm going to be using the clouds, the sun, the balloons, and the butterflies. But first I want to do some stencils, some masking, and some ink blending on the background. I am using a stencil for the masks. This is Tailored Expression 6x6 masking stencil circles. You have two sizes. I'm going to use the largest size here, and I'm using Simon Says Stamps Lemonade, Grapefruit, Peony, and Surf. And I'm starting with Grapefruit. This is a really beautiful orange, and I'm just using their blender brushes to ink blend. Now this project is for Pawesome Stamps IG Hop that starts today. So if you want to check that out, you can head on over to my Instagram, which is Create It with Joy. And that will have some information on the Instagram hop. And I thought I might as well just make a video to go along with it because this stamp set is really super cute. I just really want to have a lot of fun, bright colors on this card. So that's what I'm doing. That last color is Peony. And this is a Simon Says stamp, oh my gosh, Positively Saturated Inks. I'm sorry you guys, my brain is just on slow today. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in the second stencil in that masking stencil. I want to make another circle at the bottom. This one is not going to overlap that large circle. I'm using the Waffle Flowers mini stencil matte, but I am just using a little bit of tape because for some reason I keep moving my stencil, and so I'm my own problem. Now I'm coming in with Lemonade ink and I'm going to ink blend here at the bottom. So of course it's going to look like the circle is coming off the edge, which is, I like that. I like when some of my images go off. I feel like it makes the scene look bigger. Then I'm going to come back in with that grapefruit and blend that with the lemonade. And these inks blend so beautifully, and I just love the color combination on this card. I'm going to clean that stencil because I'm going to use that same small circle stencil above, but I did kind of get some ink on the outside of that circle, and I'm just using my Mono Tombow eraser to erase that ink, and it did it perfectly. So I'm just going to use some water to wipe up that stencil because that ink is water reactive, making sure my stencil is dry before I put it down on the ink because again it is water reactive. And this circle is going to just slightly overlap that large circle. I'm going to bring in the Surf ink, and of course where it blends in with the pink ink, we're going to get a beautiful purple. So that is my plan for this. I'm going to bring that in and just blend that. I'm going to start blending on the white part of the cardstock first, and then softly bring that into the pink where we will get a nice purple color in between. Now these circles are going to hold our images, and so it almost is like it gives you this, I don't know, 3 different spots to look at, even though it's kind of a scene card in a way. And I did forget to mention this is a mini slimline card, and this back piece, this back panel measures 3.5 by 6.5. Now I'm going to stamp my images with some jet black ink. This is Copic friendly, and we're going to do some Copic coloring, and this is on my Nina Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. And I will have the caps up so you can see what colors I'm using, but let me just give you a quick rundown. The yellows are YG0000 and 02. Then the oranges are YR01, 02, and 04. The turquoise is BG11 and 13. The pink is RV 13 and 14, and the purple is V 15, 17, and 22. So I'm just going to start coloring these cute little balloons. Now that orange balloon was a little dark, so I came and brought back in a YR01 to kind of soften that little area that I wanted a little bit lighter. The 02 was a little darker than my plan. So easy fix, easy fix. So here is that BG11 and 13 for that balloon. As you can see, I'm just bringing in the same colors that I used on the background that we created with the ink blending and the masking stencil. So here's that RV 14 and 13. And then for the final balloon, I originally did V17 and V22. and it just had too much of a contrast, so I brought in the V15 for like that middle color. I only really used 2 colors for most of these balloons because they're on the smaller side, where if I was coloring a large image, I would definitely use 3 colors of ink. I'm just going to add a little bit of the BG11 to the clouds to give that just a little bit of color so it's not just stark white. And then of course we've got these cute little butterflies with BG13 for this first one and V22. And then the second one is going to be a yellow and orange. So I've got the YR02 and then the YG0000. Then I'm going to add a few dots, just a few dot details to give these butterflies a little bit more interest. And I'm going to use the coordinating die to die cut this out. Now that sun die, you do have to line it up. Just keep spinning it around and it will line up with all of those little sun rays. Now for the sentiment, I am just going to stamp it directly on this background. I'm lining it up with that bottom circle and having part of it hang off, and I'm just going to stamp that in a black ink. I'm using the grid on my MISTI to line it up to make sure that it is straight, and for some reason I could not get it to be straight, so that took me a minute, but I'm going to stamp that a couple times, and I love the black against that. It just kind of pops and stands out differently than obviously than all these other colors. Now let's get this layout done, and I did actually die cut a third color and die cut a third cloud off camera. I felt like I just needed one more cloud for this image. Now some of these we will pop up with some foam tape, so the balloons are going to be popped up with foam tape. The large cloud and the butterfly at the very bottom is going to have some foam tape, and then the rest of it will just be adhered directly to the background. And I just love to have dimension like that. I like some things to have dimension and then other things just being flat against your panel. It just looks like it is further away. And I am going to glue some of these images off of the edge, and then I will trim that up a little bit later. Now that sun I glued down a little too low, and then I realized, you know, I want that to be a little bit higher because I like to have a few things kind of just going off the edge. So you have that ink blending, and now you have some of those images. I'm coming in with my white gel pen. I'm going to add some nice highlights to my balloons. And I'm adding like thicker highlights and dots on these. I really want them to look shiny. Then I will add a highlight to the sun and some dots to the butterflies. And I just like all of these finishing touches. I think it adds so much. I will actually come back in and add some more white highlights to those stenciled circles. I have my black micro pen, and I'm just adding the little flight dots behind the butterflies. I thought that was really super cute. And then I just felt like it needed something else on this background. So I'm going to just add a bunch of white dots all around, kind of focusing around the images. If you did not want to do this, you could use a spritzer, like a water spritzer, like a distress sprayer, and spray a little bit on the ink and then just pat it dry with a dry rag or paper towel, and that would give you some interest too on those dots. So I'm just going to finish adding a few of those, and then I will adhere this to a white mini slimline card base, which is 6.5 by 3.5, and then this card is completely finished. If you guys like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and then hit all so you don't miss any of my videos. Like, comment, and share. I appreciate that, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.